Alright, we got our footage. I can set this back to a larger display size so it's easy to see. So now we go into Blender and we pick video editing. What we'll do is go to where, like if you have an NVIDIA card, wherever it saved that footage you took, which I just got my footage here, desktop. See, this is the one I'm recording now, so this is the one I just did. Drag it into here. Now, you don't need the audio. And you can look, it tells you how many frames. This is 7,538. This is the video here. So you put in frame over here, 7538. Now, I didn't say in the last video, but you'll pick this. So I recorded mine at 4K. That's what I'd say. Whatever the highest resolution you can record at, record at that. I wouldn't go and do whatever it is where you can run up to 8K. Meshroom will never finish if you try to put too many pictures in like that are that big, and it won't benefit you really if the source stuff isn't, but so good, But anyway, this is at 4K. But Blender will try to do 50% scaling when you have 4K. For some reason it just defaults to 1080p. So just pick the footage, and over here you'll see over here where you see strip here, and you got tools, strip, but the strip part, change this to 1 if yours did this too. If your scaling is not 1, change it to 1, and then up here at the top, change the resolution to what you recorded at. 2160. Alright, now the next thing, get this Google out. You don't want your little thing. I usually turn that crap off so it doesn't show it, but I didn't this time. So I'll wait till that moves. As you see, I'm not moving my camera yet. Now I'll start moving it. So I'll go ahead and right click here, and I'll say split, and I'll go ahead and cut that chunk out because I know I ain't using that bit. I'll rewind this back to the beginning. I'll select this, hit backspace to bring it back. Now the next thing is get the whatever border you might have, and Google Earth has to go, or that's going to show up in your texture. So here's where I'll scale this proportionately until the Google's gone, which is, for me, it's 1.150 for the X and the Y axis. They'll get rid of your border. You'll get rid of the Google. So this is what you want. This is like the frame that's going to be exported, and it's going to go through. Now the next thing is get your calculator out and decide how long you want to wait, because however many steps you put is how many frames it skips to do a still. So 100 frames in the 75, that'd be like 75 pictures, which I wouldn't tell you to do that many, but I want to make a nice model. So I'm going to go ahead and say 100 frame skipping, and I'm going to let Meshroom work for a while, I guess. It's going to take it a while. So when I post this one, it'll be probably a while for the next one. So we're going to export this. No, we're not. No, we're not. No, we're not. We're going to go over here, and we're going to say PNG. Take compression off, just do 8-bit color, RGB, and then in up here go to render animation. But wherever the temp folder is here, it'll tell you where it's going to. Which one is it? Normally I go right to it, I know where it's at. Okay, here's the output folder. So I got to clear that folder because I don't want to have to weed through the pictures that are already in there from the last thing I did. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to delete this, so it's an empty folder. Makes it easier putting the pictures in Meshroom. There ain't nothing else in there. Then render animation. I'm going to go through and do its thing. And I'll stop this video at me importing them into Meshroom, because that's going to take a while. I'm guessing 75 images at 4K is probably 30 minutes. Just based on how long I've rendered stuff, how long it takes. This is what depends on your CPU too. So whatever you got your CPU. I did this stuff fine on an i7, so I know it works on that too. It just take you longer if you got something older. That's all. This maybe something you want to let do when you go to sleep. All right, we're done with this. Now let's load Meshroom. Where is it? I got my icons moved. There it is. I got my scaling larger than I normally do, so I arranged them. Now when Meshroom loads, just first thing, go to this texturing and change this to 16K, 16384. Don't mess with anything else. Just leave everything like it is. Now we're going to drag and drop all these files in here. So we don't want the black frames. We don't need those. 72 images, yeah, because I didn't get those there. I don't know how. Yeah, it don't matter. But anyway, drag them into here. Now what you're going to do is save, or just hit start. It'll prompt you to save it. Just save the work, and just name it whatever. I'm lazy. Just V5, volcano number 5. I don't know how many I've already done. I'm going to hit start. Now, when you do this, you'll see these light up green as they get finished. And if you think it's hung, it ain't hung. Feature matching, structure for motion, depth map meshing. Depth map meshing take a long time, but depth map and one of these two is what takes the longest. You'll think it hung. Don't worry, it didn't. You can go to the log and see what's going on in each one when it gets to it. And you can see all the statistics. I thought if you see one that turns red, then there was an issue, which could be a number of things. I won't get into all the possibilities, but most of them are you don't have enough photos. Because just think every picture, you need 3 angles of every picture. That's why I do the camera the way I do it. And it just happens to work out when I export, like the number of frames I do for the length of time. Now, if it was only, say, 3,000 frames, then I would have only skipped, 50 frames. If it was 1,000 frames, then I'd probably only skip every 10 frames. You know what I'm saying? That's why I said the consistency matters, how you flow through your video taking. But here we go, hit start, and I'll see you on the next one when this is done.